the sickness that is Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter, and the sickness that is Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, and I have never committed a crime. And I'm continuing to demand public information from you. Today is December 19th. Every Freedom of Information Law document that I'm going to read to you now on December 19th, you received on December 17th, every one. And you will refuse every one on December 17th. You will refuse every one on December 19th. And then on December 21st, I will again be back on YouTube demanding additional information beyond this and telling you exactly what I think about your repulsive existence. You're going to refuse. Every single one, you will refuse. But when you want information at the district attorney's office and the sheriff's office, you better acquire that information. I'm a citizen demanding information from you that you are legally obligated to provide to me, and you're refusing. Your entire nauseating, repulsive, disgusting, corrupt existence is tax dollars. Send me the latest payroll. That's the easiest one. List of salaries of every public employee at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. And you will refuse. You, Todd Baxter, can walk through this parking lot. You, Sandra Doorley, can walk through this parking lot. Your employees can walk through this parking lot. Your friends and family members can walk through this parking lot without being arrested. I'm the only New Yorker. I have 17.9 million without being arrested for walking through this parking lot. What do you think the United States Department of Justice is going to think about that, Todd Baxter? What do you think the United States Department of Justice is going to think about you putting a camera on this building to concoct the crime for me when these two parasites, Nairaj and Layla Kumar Shah, went through about me walking through this parking lot? How is it a crime to walk through this parking lot? How is it a crime to walk through this parking lot my neighbors walk through? How is it a crime to walk through this parking lot that Penfield High School students walk through? How is it a crime to walk through this parking lot? 5 people a day walk through, 10 people a day walk through, 15 people a day walk through, 20 people a day walk through after the fireworks at Harris Whalen Park. In 2018 and 2019, I went through it both years. 200 people walked through that parking lot in a span of 15 minutes after I got back from the fireworks, sat right here and watched them. If it's a crime to walk through that parking lot, you should have arrested the 200 people that I personally witnessed when I sat here and walked through that parking lot. Before the fireworks, Penfield High School band students walked through that parking lot. Fathers think in Penfield High School, you bald-headed fuck, if you arrested a Penfield High School band student for walking through that parking lot. There would be calls for your resignation immediately. What's the difference between a Penfield High School band student walking through that parking lot in band uniform and me? If it's a crime to walk through that parking lot, everybody should be arrested. Do you understand me, you bald-headed fucking criminal? I know you're thinking right now at 3 minutes and 22 seconds into this YouTube, that guy needs to be arrested. We need to go to his house and send on him and arrest him. Because you've been a pathetic cop your whole life, and you think like a pathetic cop. If something enrages you, I'm trying to enrage you. I'm trying to enrage your employees, which is easy to do. That's not a high standard to achieve. You're thinking right now, I need to arrest that guy. I need to send my employees to his house and arrest him and descend on him with another pathetic, nauseating, disgusting concoction. And you are pathetic, nauseating, disgusting. I'm going to be in contact with your adult children, Kevin Baxter and Zachary Baxter. I'm going to send them between 500 pages and 1,000 pages, because what I send to the United States Department of Justice, I'm going to send to your sons, your adult sons. And I'm going to tell them, don't be like your father. That's what I'm going to tell your adult children, to never be like you. And I'm sure they do want to be like you. And I'm sure they do admire you. Because sons admire their fathers, no matter how repulsive. Your children should never want to be like you. So, I'm going to be demanding public information for you right now at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office. The easiest document to send to me is a list of salaries, the public employee payroll. Send it to me. Put it in a PDF and send it to me. And you will refuse. Good. And first two I'm going to read is my demand for how you discipline your public employees at the sheriff's office and the district attorney's office? What is the disciplinary process for you, Sandra Doorley, and you, Todd Baxter? What is it? When your employees engage in unethical and aberrant behavior, what do you do about this unethical and aberrant behavior? What do you do when your employees are not working at a standard that they should be working at to achieve? Because there's a difference between discipline, where an employee is punished, and counseling, where an employee is encouraged to do a better job and to elevate the performance. And they're two different things. And you should be doing both. But the thing I'm interested in right now is how you discipline your public employees. For example, Sandra Doorley, you prosecuted in talk in Penfield Town Court twice, first before 70-year-old John P. Lomenzo Jr., next before Paul Lomenzo, and I'm delivered to jail. How am I delivered to jail when I look over at your prosecutor twice, and I'm going to interrupt your prosecutor as soon as I'm accused of a crime? And there's nothing. There's not one syllable, Sandra Doorley. As an American citizen, Sandra Doorley, what do you think about what has happened to me being delivered first to Monroe County Jail, next to Livingston County Jail, when I live in Monroe County, without a prosecutor talking? Where is your ethics? Where's your decency? Where's your morality? Your ethics, your decency, morality vanished a long time ago, Sandra Doorley. I'd like to know if you've ever had ethics, morality, or decency, Todd Baxter. Comply with every Freedom of Information Law document here. I'm going to continue to send these to you. And I really don't want you to comply. So I continue to be on YouTube, ridiculing you, mocking you, telling you what I think about your nauseating existence. When I'm using language here like nauseating existence, that is not hyperbole. As I've explained, in the 50,000, 75,000, 100,000 words I've written and said on YouTube, and in what I've sent to your office, registered mail, return receipt, should be absolutely clear about why I decide to use the language that I do and why it's not hyperbole. You do not know what constitutes a crime, Todd Baxter. And the verification that you don't know what constitutes a crime is twice in Penfield Town Court. Sandra Doorley's assistant district attorney said nothing. The female, the first time before John P. Lomenzo, said nothing because I haven't committed a crime. The 5'2" three-piece suit boy, the second time, said nothing because I haven't committed a crime. I was on my knees in Penfield Town Court before John P. Lomenzo Jr. and as the angel reality charges me with harassment, second, sitting in the backseat of the vehicle, your $79,000 corrupt hack. On my knees. And I screamed, "You're violating my rights." The last time I screamed, I was in elementary school in Long Island, in Happiness on the playground, because I don't scream. I'll raise my voice, as you know, as you can tell. Just between raising your voice and yelling, screaming. You know the difference between raising your voice, yelling, and screaming? Because screaming is when you really can't control that emotion. And here I am on my knees in Penfield Town Court, knowing I'm going to jail, and I screamed, "You're violating my rights." Freedom of Information Law. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime. The internal disciplinary records or documentation for employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. That Sheriff Todd K. Baxter is disciplined, reprimanded, or terminated from employment at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. What's the answer to that question, Todd Baxter? It's a demand. I'm demanding you answer this. What's the disciplinary process at your Jonestown? The internal disciplinary records documentation for employees at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office of District Attorney Sandra Doorley. That District Attorney Sandra Doorley is disciplined and reprimanded and terminated from employment at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Should a prosecutor doesn't talk in court as an innocent man is delivered to Monroe County Jail first and Livingston County Jail second, be terminated from employment? Sandra Doorley, what's the answer from your Jonestown? The answer to that question is yes. And the answer from you, Sandra Doorley, is no, or I don't know. That's your answer. Total silence. I'm going to get to the foil. I'm demanding the name of these two employees. You're going to refuse to comply with that. You refuse to send me the payroll, which I just read. You see me on YouTube because you're coming here. 100 times now you've been here. 100 plus times now you've been here. I've never committed a crime. And Monroe County Sheriff Office employees have been here 100 plus times. That's what I'm going to tell the United States Department of Justice. And you're thinking right now, how do we concoct a new crime for him? What can we do to this guy? What can we do to him sitting there? Demanding information from us that we're legally obligated to provide to him. You're thinking, how can we concoct another crime for him? I have always known the difference between legal and illegal. You don't know the difference between legal and illegal. Party switching fraud, Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter. Freedom of Information Law. Names and silence of a public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. That's the payroll that I had that wasn't taken out of this residence by Lee LaRoque. Who the hell is Lee LaRoque? And I just saw a picture of her on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook a lot. I have an account, which you shut me out on. I can't post comments to your Facebook page. Because I was going there and telling you exactly what I thought. I went there yesterday, put in a comment, deleted. I put it in again, deleted. So you can find me on Facebook, Todd the Fascist Stooge. So I saw a picture of Leah LaRoque, who came in here with this search warrant. Leah, baby, you are 40 plus pounds overweight. That is not exaggeration. Why laugh? I try not to laugh, but sometimes a little levity helps when your life is under siege by a fanatical, degenerate sheriff and his fanatical, degenerate district attorney. Leah LaRoque is 40 pounds overweight. You should go to Facebook at the district attorney's office and sheriff's office and go to the search engine and type Leah LaRoque, and you'll see her picture. So what are the physical training standards at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? A party-switching, bald-headed Todd Baxter who wants to have sex with every jail in New York State. 40 plus pounds overweight. Lee LaRoque coming in here with a search warrant. I'll get that too. Such a joke, an abomination. When Lee LaRoque shows up at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, she has to have a uniform that she's not popping out of. 40 pounds overweight. This picture on the Facebook page, Leah LaRoque, and she's in front of your building, your public safety building. She's in Rochester. This is not some Leah LaRoque that's in Wyoming. So Leah LaRoque is there with two other employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office popping out of her civilian clothes. I'd like to know, Leah, when you were in here, what's your search warrant looking for a hammer? Leah, did you take any Twizzlers out of my house, honey? Because I love these Twizzlers. I could eat this whole thing. I'm still going to be in great shape. So Leah LaRoque, 40 plus pounds overweight at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Sweetheart, you took my Chromebook out of my house. Did you take my Twizzlers too? Such a joke at the Sheriff's Office. We need to arrest that. I'm going to retire. Chris Chichester is going to read Todd Baxter's mind right now. We need to arrest that guy. I hate that guy. So here's your Jansen D. McNair. She had an awards ceremony there at Jonestown. I clicked on you giving out your fake awards, Todd. How do you decide on these awards? It looked like some type of elementary school ceremony where you give an effort award to some 10-year-old kid. So instead of these 20, 25, 30 people being out on the roads and doing their jobs and investigating cases and pursuing real criminals, there you are with your elementary school awards ceremony. Pardon me. I'm really trying not to laugh. Because I'm looking at this and you have like the name of the person and the award that you conferred on this hero. You are a joke and you don't even know you're a joke because this had to be organized. We're going to have the award ceremony today. You're spending time conferring awards on yourselves and putting it on your Facebook page. This is the masturbation of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office by you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and you don't even know it. I'm going to have an entire YouTube on this award ceremony. I have to print it, I have to look at it, and I'm going to write it. Because I don't just get on here and start to talk. I have notes that I can see so I know what to talk about. I'm trying not to laugh at your award ceremony. So here's a memo to party-switching, bald-headed Todd Baxter. Memo from Chris Chichester, party-switching, bald-headed Todd Baxter. Don't have an award ceremony in the future anymore, period. So, I'll repeat this again. Names and salaries, every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. Freedom of information law. Names and salaries, every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Perry Duckles. Do you understand what I just read? You and your $129,000 a year salary? $129,000. All you are is an attorney and a public employee. $129,000. What did you earn, Perry, before you were paid $129,000? Aren't you still paid $129,000? I'm demanding the new payroll so I can compare it to the one Leela Roque didn't take out of the house so I can see who has raises. Are you still making $129,000? Perry, you up higher than that. How do you give raises at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? How's that even done? Do you just decide somebody gets a raise? How's the performance evaluation, the performance reviews? Do you have that at the Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney's Office? I'll be in contact with you about that. Send me the payroll, Sandra and Todd. So, Perry, you work a 40-hour week. Michael Radler, the $0 employee. Kathleen Miller, $34,000. William Tadeo, Scott Alberti. You work a 40-hour week. When you work that 41st hour, the 50th hour, 60th hour, how are you paid? Public employees in the United States of America abuse overtime because it is greed of the heart. I mean, there's a show on NBC that I love to watch, and millions of people watch it because it had good ratings, called American Greed. It's been on for a decade. And it's all about money, how people want money. If you have $1 million, you want $2 million. If you have $2 million, you want $4 million. If you have $4 million, you want $8 million. The greed of the heart is never ending. So, you have your base salary. When I was a public employee, I had a base salary. When I was a public employee in Albany, Washington, D.C., that was it. All I made was the salary I negotiated when I sat down with my respective bosses in both cities. So, when you work that 41st hour, Perry Duckles, Michael Radler, how are you paid? You're thinking that's none of your damn business. I'm making it my business. Total cost of overtime, time and a half, while paid beyond a base salary is calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd K. Baxter. Total cost of overtime, time and a half, while paid beyond a base salary is calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley. What's sexual harassment at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Have you, Todd Baxter, have you, Michael Radler, have you, Sandra Doorley, have you, Perry Duckles, been told that there's sexual harassment going on, happening in your offices? Sexual harassment is a man asking a woman, it's almost always a man, out on a date, either verbally or on email, over and over and over and over and over and over, and she's under siege with no. Sexual harassment is a man that's constantly touching a woman at the office, and she tells this man repeatedly, stop touching me, keep your hands to yourself. Sexual harassment is vulgar, vile, profane language used at the office, either in ordinary conversations or telling these disgusting, repulsive jokes that are sometimes grounded in misogyny. It can have any number of definitions. As you understand the term, Michael Radler and Perry Duckles, as you understand it, is there sexual harassment going on at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter, and Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley? Are you aware of a woman coming to you and saying, I'm being harassed, and then stating a name? Oftentimes, in my experience, a woman will not confide in a man because she's going to think it's just another guy. So Kathleen Miller, $34,000 a year employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Are you aware of sexual harassment going on? Are you aware of a woman, your colleague, coworker, who just will not be left alone by a Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee that's a man? If the answer is no, the answer is no. If the answer is yes, and you're doing nothing, then that's a disgrace. I don't know if the answer is yes. I'm just saying if. I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just accusing you of working at a disgusting, vile, sickening, repulsive criminal organization. That's all. So, people who behave like your employees behave at the sheriff's office and the district attorney's office, in all likelihood, are doing other criminal things. Concocting a crime for an innocent citizen who just walks outside and stands on the road that he's lived on for 8 years and tells a guy in his tractor, nobody knows anyone, walks into his house. They're doing other criminal things. A prosecutor doesn't stand in court, and that organization, the employees of that organization are all likely doing other criminal things. It's one of those criminal things, sexual harassment. It's one of those things, the descent on the soul. That is sexual harassment. I'll do that. Cost of taxpayers of Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits failed to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It needs to be repeated. Cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits failed to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 is not law that is insignificant. In fact, it is arguably the most important legislation ever passed in the 20th century by my former employers in the United States Senate and United States House of Representatives. So, you Sandra Doorley and you Todd Baxter, in compliance with the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Where's the United States of America on a map, Todd Baxter? Where's the United States of America on a map, Sandra Doorley? What's a surveillance device, Todd Baxter? Because you bought one for me and lied about it. And I forced you to finally confess to admit that you bought one, because I've now seen the images that my public defender, Regina Harper, sent to me. And I'm not committing a crime. Your employees walked onto the private property of my neighbor, my 70-plus-year-old neighbor, and waited for me to come outside the residence. As I'm not an attorney, I'm not entirely familiar with the term standing. But if you're walking onto the private property and you're near the window where my neighbor sleeps, waiting for you to come out of the house, and you're running across the private property of my neighbor, how do you have any standing to concoct assault on my back porch? Because I run away, I run up my back porch, your employee grabs my arm, the hammer I just grabbed goes up and run back in my house. How's that a felony? You're concocting crimes for me because of what I'm doing to you on YouTube and what I sent to your offices, and because I read the salaries. I'm confident. There's no way I can ever prove this, but I believe it's because I read the salaries. And right away, 500 views. Everybody knew what they made at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office because of me. I hope that destroyed the morale at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. It's a way to destroy the morale where you have 170 employees is for everybody to know what everybody else makes, earns, is paid. And that's what I did to you, Todd Baxter. You're welcome. Cost of surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd G. Baxter fixed to a building 2025 Penfield Road to monitor Christopher Childs, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. I walked through the parking lot for 4,000 times, and Elliot Roth, that's at the high resolution photo, but that's it. You can see it if you walk through that parking lot. You can walk through that parking lot, Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office, because these parasites today, Raj, I lay the Kumar shine, you won't be arrested. I'm walking through the parking lot for the 4,000th time. I hear screaming from behind me. It's Nayraj Shah. And I'm going to continue to contact this guy. And you're going to concoct new charges for me just because I contacted him. Good. Because I'm exercising my First Amendment right. And when I contact the United States Department of Justice, the Office of Governor Andrew Cuomo, they're getting copies of what I said. So you concoct a crime for me, for two people I've never met. So I'm walking through the parking lot. I hear this screaming from behind me. And it's Nayraj Shah's vehicle. I walked up to him. I say, what's the problem? He's still screaming in his vehicle. So I hurt his precious feelings when I gave him the finger and I told him to go fuck himself. And fuck you, Todd Baxter. And fuck you, Sandra Doorley. And I know what you think, we hate that guy. And based on what he just said to us, there's new crimes right there. New crimes are going to concoct for him. This is called exercising my First Amendment right. You put that camera on that building. How much did you spend for it? Tell me how much you spent for that camera. That's also called a surveillance device. And you will refuse. Was it $100, $200, $300? How much did you, bald-headed party-switching fraud, Todd Baxter, expect to put this surveillance device in 2025 Penview Road for me? I watched Michael Phelps in the Olympics, and he was brilliant. The performance of Michael Phelps when he swims in the Olympics is an extraordinary thing to watch if you have always believed in the attainment of athletic excellence. I love to watch him swim, Michael Phelps. Hey, you Todd, baby, you got swimmers at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime. The cost of taxpayers for photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter photographed 10 public employees underwater in a pool. These are your employees, Todd Baxter. Todd, are you down here? I can't see the faces. Are you the one in the middle below the American flag? And obviously the American flag is there because this is deeply patriotic. To be underwater in a pool. Was this done on the time of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? The answer is yes, because I was told it was training exercise. If it's training exercise, then this is done on the time of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Why? How is this a training exercise? That's a lie. That's a lie from a liar sheriff. How much did you expend? Training exercise? Your employees underwater in a pool? What did you spend? When I contact the New York State Controller and direct him and tell him that you need to be audited, Todd Baxter, I'm going to write 500 plus words on this, perhaps 1,000 plus words, I don't know. But it'll be a lot of words about what a disgrace this is. Why? They had to talk to each other that day, driving over there, on their phones, on email. We're going to take the picture today. What is the purpose of this picture? Why does this picture exist? How is this possibly a training exercise? Freedom of Information Law. The cost for a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher attended the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019 with his canine dog, Lola. Why is your employee in Atlanta, Georgia with his German Shepherd, Lola? There's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This is the Super Bowl. There's no reason for Ryan Fisher to be in Atlanta, Georgia. No reason for Ryan Fisher to be out of Rochester, out of Monroe County, out of New York State for a football game. How much was the plane ticket? Was it $500, $750, $1,000? I don't fly, so I don't know how much a plane ticket is. What type of hotel did he stay in? Was it a big fancy hotel in Atlanta? Or was it some Motel 6? What about the care and feeding of his dog? How long was he there for? Did he board his dog? Why is Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia with his canine dog, Lola, Todd Baxter? What's the purpose of this? This is less resources, one less employee you have in Monroe County when he's in Atlanta, Georgia on a junket. A junket enrages taxpayers. A junket makes the blood boil for taxpayers. And when you run for re-election, I'll be talking about the junket of Ryan Fisher that you approved. Is your signature on any paperwork? Sheriff Todd Baxter for Ryan Fisher to go to Atlanta, Georgia. He had to get a plane ticket. So, when you're at your office at 130 South Plymouth Avenue, the paperwork has to come across his desk. He's not doing this on his own time. He's there in uniform. As every military member knows, if you're in uniform, you're on duty even when you're off base. He's in uniform, away from Monroe County. So he's on the time in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office if he's in uniform. Where's the documentation signed by you for Ryan Fisher to go to Atlanta, Georgia? I'm going to demand that. You will refuse. There is, I'm guessing that there's a signature from you or another senior employee at the sheriff's office that deals with dispersals of money for travel for him. And if it's not you, it's not your signature to send Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia, then it's on paperwork that has your name, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. But what I demand to know, I'm not asking you. Everything here is a demand. I'm not asking anything. I'm telling you I'm demanding information from you. Did you affix your signature, Todd K. Baxter, to a hotel room? For a hotel room, for a plane ticket, for the care and feeding of his dog, a per diem. Did he have a per diem? What's the answer to that? Sheriff Todd Baxter, is your signature on documentation for a plane ticket, for a hotel, for the care and feeding of the dog of Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Ryan Fisher. Well, Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Ryan Fisher is in Atlanta, Georgia. Are you familiar with the flag of Atlanta, Georgia? That's what it looks like. And this is what it used to look like until 2003. The official symbol of being a redneck. Such a joke, a disgrace, an abomination. As we get ready to watch Super Bowl, we are grateful for the men and women assigned to keep fans and players safe in Atlanta, Georgia, including MCSO's Deputy Ryan Fisher and K9 Lola. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta. Thank you both for your service. Who's he serving in Atlanta, Georgia? Tell me. Who's Ryan Fisher serving in Atlanta, Georgia? How do you explain this to the people of Monroe County when you run for re-election? How do you explain this to the controller of New York State? How do you explain this to the governor of New York when I contact him and demand that he institute a Moreland Act commission to investigate you? Lee LaRoque, sweetheart, coming to my house with your repulsive search warrant, looking for a hammer, taking my Chromebook out of my house. This is for you. If you're packing on, I guess, 40 pounds, and I'm going to look at you again on your Facebook page. Here, Lee LaRoque, Deputy Sean and somebody, Under Sheriff Sanborn, investigating LaRoque. 3 of our deputies are taking part in the Police Unity Tour. Oh, what a joke. I just looked at you, Lee LaRoque, 40 pounds overweight. Because you're eating these Twizzlers here. You got to stop eating these Twizzlers, okay? And this foil, the reason why I'm showing that. What are the physical training standards at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Todd K. Baxter? Freedom of Information Law. What are the physical training standards or requirements at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Todd K. Baxter? You got Lee LaRoque popping out of her civilian clothes there, Todd Baxter, when she's not coming in my house looking for a hammer and exiting with a Chromebook. Have you seen this, Lee LaRoque? Because that's your Jonestown. All you Kool-Aid drinkers are sitting around mixing the Kool-Aid, and perhaps you've seen this fanatic, Lee LaRoque. Have you ever gone up to one of your employees, Todd the fascist stooge, and said you need to lose weight? And the answer is no, because you're overweight. Photos I've seen of you, perhaps you've lost weight, if I've said repeatedly in other YouTubes, whenever I get to this foil. Lee LaRoque coming in my house and exiting with my Chromebook looking for a hammer. It's 40 plus pounds overweight, I'll guess. He didn't have to sit in that neighborhood, pardon me. What are the physical training standards at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Is there a requirement for push-up sits in a 2-mile run like in the Army? 300 points is perfect in the Army. Do you have anything like that? And the answer is no, because you have employee after employee after employee. That is a disgraceful, disgusting example of how not to look in a law enforcement uniform, given the fact that they're 20 plus pounds, 30 plus pounds, and like Leah, are 40 plus pounds overweight. Stop eating those Twinkies, Leah. I was ridiculing Michael Radler because I believed he was a double dipper. He was a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee for 20 years and then retired, and then there he is again. So I thought he had a salary. Turns out when I got the payroll, went right to his name, went right to your name, Michael Radler. 0. Why were you rehired and what do you do for $0? So I'm demanding when you were rehired. And when I contact the appropriate individuals, this is going to be more than 100. One of the questions I'm going to have is, why is this guy hired and what does he do? Because you're the gopher for Sheriff Baxter. That's what I think you do. Sheriff Baxter wants something, you go get it. Day in year, Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter rehired Michael Radler after his 20-plus year career with the Sheriff's Office ended. The $0 employee. What a joke. Who's at your jail, Todd Baxter? Public facility? You're going to refuse. This is the one that is going to confirm to me if other inmates at your jail have been physically attacked and assaulted like me. One of your employees attacked me in your jail. That's why I want this, so I can talk to these people about their interaction with your employees if they were attacked and assaulted like me by one of the employees at the jail. The name and charge of every inmate in Monroe County Jail from January 2018 to December 19, 2020. Name charge. It's a public facility. This is Penfield Town Court. I'm demanding salaries. Penfield Town Court, John P. Lomenzo Jr. You should be aware the Freedom of Information Law does not apply to Penfield Town Court. This is the fanatic that I have to appear in front of. He says the Freedom of Information Law does not apply to Penfield Town Court. How is that possible? How does he make that conclusion? If he says the Freedom of Information Law does not apply to Penfield Town Court, which is what I'm showing here, then no law applies. Then they just do whatever the hell they want, and they do whatever the hell they want with right now James Mullen and Paula Metzler. This court needs to be abolished, Sandra, Doorley, Todd, Baxter. The operations should be suspended, and they should be abolished permanently and folded into some other court in Monroe County. So no one else like me has their rights abridged by fanaticism and hatred. He's telling me that the Freedom of Information Law doesn't apply to Penfield Town Court. How is that possible? Does it apply to the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office? Well, I got the payroll. The Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office, so it must. That's the only thing. I've now sent you 1,000 Freedom of Information Law documents. You comply with 2. And you're going to refuse to comply with this one. All this is a name. If I appear in court, there's documentation. What's the name of the prosecutor? Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? What's her name? She stood there. I went to the podium, and I'm waiting for her to talk because I'm going to interrupt her when she starts to talk. I stand at the podium in front of Lomenzo. He doesn't talk to me because he's just there to pronounce you guilty. It's an assembly line of guilt in that nauseating room. A little room, assembly line of guilt. I'm standing there in front of Lomenzo. I look to my left, not one word. How am I delivered to jail when the prosecutor doesn't talk, Sandra Doorley? How do you explain that to the United States Department of Justice? What's the name of your female assistant district attorney who stood in Penfield Town Court and didn't talk? And the reason why she didn't talk is I haven't committed a crime. She has nothing. She's bankrupt. Total silence. What's the name of your nothing, bankrupt, total silence public employee, Sandra Doorley? Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before Paul Lomenzo in Penfield Town Court. What's the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Doorley. So, I'm not perfect in reading these sometimes because I have to control myself, my anger. So, I may repeat myself a few times because when I sit here in front of this laptop, I'm in a rage. So sometimes I will repeat myself because I have to collect my thoughts at this 38 minutes and I'm not perfect, but comply with everything on this December 19th. Comply with everything. The sickness that is you, Todd Baxter, Monroe County Sheriff, Todd Baxter, I have a passion for jails. How do you say you have a passion for jails? What goes through your mind when you say you have a passion for jails? How could you possibly say this? I do not understand. I fail to understand how any human being can say, I have a passion for jails. Because this is how you conclude when you're home or at the office, how you win political support and you win votes by saying, I have a passion for jails. And in this story in the Democrat and Chronicle, there you are in your ice cream man suit, and you were interviewed. This is the Democrat and Chronicle question to you, Todd Baxter. In this story where you were quoted talking about your sexual attraction to jails. Democrat and Chronicle. You obviously have a close relationship with the Rochester Police Department. How will that affect the Monroe County Sheriff's Office going forward? Will there be more cooperation, collaboration? Todd Baxter, quote, with being the two largest law enforcement agencies in the area, there's a natural collaboration. Things that happen in the city affect the county and vice versa. We were just talking the night before last about the fireworks show. I called Mike, Rochester Police Chief Michael Ciminelli, and his command staff to ask about what we'll be doing for special events on New Year's Eve. I would naturally deploy a couple of deputies into the city just to help out. That's not to take away from any work from the city cops, but should the big one come in, we're going to have interagency cooperation anyway, but it's nice to have deputies on the scene for things like that. Did the big one come in, Sheriff Todd Baxter? How did the big one happen on New Year's Eve? Did the big one descend on the city of Rochester? What are you doing sending your employees to a fireworks show? For what reason? One thing that, since given what's happened to me, that I found repulsive now is seeing cops everywhere that they don't belong. Like when I ran a 5K at MCC and there are your employees in the gym. Why? There are cops everywhere in Monroe County, at places where they don't belong. When I say cops, you're cops, Todd Baxter. That's all you are, is a cop. I know you think you're at an elite level for your sheriff's office. All you are is a cop. That's it. I would naturally deploy a couple of deputies in the city just to help out. You would naturally deploy. Why? Why would you naturally deploy? Do you think cops need a fucking babysitter to be out there and watching over people? You think cops need to be fucking babysitters for people, sitting around making sure everything's okay? This is why people hate the police. You don't need to deploy anybody to a fireworks show in Rochester. If something happens, then you'll be called. Your employees will be called. You don't need to be sit around doing nothing at a fireworks show. This is the way you think. And the way you think is an indictment of your incompetence and buffoonery. Just to help out? Were you asked to help out? You're getting on the phone to say this is a fireworks show. I'll send a couple of my employees to it. It's such a joke, a disgrace. And since you have a passion for jails, Todd, here's our Clinton Correctional Facility here. All right, do you know what that is? It's in New York. And this is what you could be doing. That's called the missionary position. You'd be having the missionary position there in Clinton Correctional Facility. And this is Arsenal Correctional Facility here, Todd. And this is what you could be doing here, Todd. See, that's what you could be doing with Arsenal. I don't quite get that. I don't get that free show. I don't get what's going on here with that. So you have a passion for jails, Sheriff Todd Baxter. And since you have a passion for jails, you need to read the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, because you obviously have a mental disorder. You have a passion for jails. Leah LaRoe, I mean, honey, really, is the bag half empty now? Is the bag half empty coming to my house looking for a hammer and exiting with my Chromebook? I mean, did you finish the whole bag? Is the bag half empty or did you finish it? All right, I'm going to be sending you a package of these along with the transfers, so you can go crazy, honey. All right? I'll tell you the heroic Ryan Fisher. I've never seen heroism like that there, Todd. You know, Todd, I mean, how are you doing with your bald head here? Because I would like to know if there's going to be an Olympic downhill race on your bald head. Perhaps you could be, like Franz Klammer, if you remember him. Maybe Franz Klammer can ski down your bald head there, Todd. And, I'm just not getting it about, what's going on here in the pool. $61.39. I've showed this repeatedly. I'm going to continue to show it again because I'm demanding information from you. And when I demand the same information, I'm going to talk about what you've done to me. This is when I was attacked and assaulted outside Wegmans, food markets, the pharmacy entrance by your employee. What's the name of the employee that attacked and assaulted me? I go to Canandaigua National Bank. I'm down Penfield Road. I see your vehicles passing me. You're waiting for me to come out of my residence. That's why your vehicles are passing me. I go to Canandaigua National Bank. I withdraw money. I put it in my pocket. $40. So I had $21.39 in my pocket. I withdrew $40 and I brought it up to $61.39. So I walked down the sidewalk of Penfield Road back to my residence with $61.39 in my pocket. I make a right at Sanders Farm Drive. I make a left at Willow Pond Way, and you'll follow me in your vehicles. You're waiting for me. I go past Crown Oak Estates, which is next to Wegmans. I walk in front of Wegmans. I get to the pharmacy and I say, 5 of your vehicles converge upon me. 11 employees. One of them gets out. As I'm about to turn around, I feel his shoulder jam into the small of my back because he ran at me, low to shoulder, knocked me to the ground, and my head ricocheted, bounced off the concrete pavement at the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans, and he briefly sat on me. This is a felony attack. It's a felony assault. It's what your employee did to me. Your employee attacked and assaulted me at Wegmans Food Markets, and the witnesses are the 11 other employees that I counted, and there were more, but I counted 11. I can only go what I counted. What's his name, Sheriff Todd Baxter? What's the name of your employee that physically attacked and assaulted me at the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans Food Markets when I had $61.39 in my pocket? When I'm attacking you and labeling you as an animal and your employees as animals, it's not an exaggeration. I'm already surrounded. There's 5 vehicles. All you have to do when you abridge my civil and constitutional rights is put my hands behind my back, put the handcuffs on. I'm already surrounded. Yet I was attacked. That's not the only time I was attacked. I was also attacked at your jail by one of your public employees who followed me back to my jail cell, went to grab my notebook because I was writing everything down. He took my arm, jammed it behind my back, took my notebook and left. Then I had to go see the nurse. And who comes to get me at your jail? The same guy. I go to see the nurse. I say, my arm's bothering me. She says, after I explained to her what happened, she says to me, who attacked you? I say, the guy standing behind me. But I didn't have $61.39 as I was wearing my orange jumpsuit as an innocent man who's never committed a crime. $61.39, Todd Baxter. I'll never cash this check. Why is Shannon Myers still employed by you? That the defendant on the above date, location, approximately 1440 hours, did knowingly enter or remain unlawfully in upon the premises of 2041 Penfield Road, Penfield, New York, by walk through the parking lot after being told by certified mail and by police that he's not allowed on property. Accusatory instrument, defendant. Perry Duckles, what do you think about me being a defendant on a piece of paper? This is a standard form. I'm a defendant. I've never committed a crime. And as Shannon Meyer concocts this lie, I'm a defendant on this coffee-stained document. That's not my coffee stain. This is what I was sent by these parasites. That's the defendant. Tell me, Perry Duckles, how I'm a defendant on a piece of paper and that this is a standard form. How does a form like this exist? Accusatory Instrument Information General, CPL 100.15. This is an abomination, this piece of paper. For someone to be a defendant that has not committed a crime, you're already making the person guilty by calling him a defendant on a standard form. And I received this from John P. Lomenzo Jr. I'm accused of this, and then I received it from John P. Lomenzo Jr., and I had a demand to see it because I didn't know what the hell they were talking about as far as accusatory instrument. I saw it on another piece of paper that said it was an accusatory instrument. I'm thinking, what is this accusatory instrument? I had to demand an accusatory instrument. I wasn't provided it, so I'm being accused of a concocted crime, and I'm not even provided it, the piece of paper. That delivers me to jail, what I just showed you. How do you show up to the house of an innocent man and demand his dog when all he's doing is walking his dog the same way for 7 years and 4,000 times? How's that happen? Which is what we did, Todd Baxter, and I explained that numerous times. Why have I never heard Miranda versus Arizona, Todd Baxter? That's what I'm going to tell the United States Department of Justice. Put the handcuffs on me when I went outside, when you 6 fanatics got here and Shannon Meyer fell down in my backyard. I've never heard Miranda versus Arizona. I've been in Monroe County Jail as an innocent man without the prosecutor talking. I've been in Livingston County Jail without the prosecutor talking. I've never heard Miranda. This is arguably the most important Supreme Court decision of the 20th century because it protects everybody. It doesn't matter what your race or religion is. This is for everyone. I've never heard it. Why? Do your employees read every single person that's arrested the Miranda right? The answer is no, because I'm the evidence. Why have I never heard Miranda Todd Baxter? Why have I never heard Miranda Sandra Doorley? Why have I never heard Miranda Paula Metzler? Why have I never heard Miranda James Molly? Why have I never heard Miranda John P. Lomenzo Jr.? It doesn't matter to you, because the law's a joke to you. So, when I'm a free man, the animal control officer had to come into my residence when I was at Monroe County Jail, because my little guy died on July 21st. So when I was in Monroe County Jail, my dog had to be taken back from Lollipop. I didn't have to go and retrieve him from Livingston County because he was no longer with me. So my little guy that I adopted from Lollipop, when I was taken to Monroe County Jail as an innocent man, the Animal Control, Town of Penfield Animal Services, Division of Enforcement had to come in here, and this is dog seizure and disposition. Steve Schicker, Town of Penfield. This should never happen to an innocent man. Dog seizure and disposition. So when I got home, I immediately took an Uber over to Lollipop to get him, because I missed him terribly. I walked up to Lollipop and they knew where I was coming from. And what I believe happened, because they didn't bring him out right away, they talked to me for a couple minutes, because I believe they just wanted to see that I was still fit to get my little guy back. So in the Uber, I was petrified I wasn't going to get him back. And then when I got to Lollipop, I could see the way that they're acting, that they were thinking about, should we give this guy his dog back? And they did. Because I had to be interviewed with my ex-girlfriend in order to get him. And then when they brought him into the room, and the reason why I was in that room, because of dog seizure and disposition, he came running over to me. I was so happy to see him. I fell on the floor and was rolling around the floor with him. So I was just so happy to see him. I'm on the floor with him. And I took him home. Everything was all right. This should never happen to an innocent man in the United States of America. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, and I have never committed a crime.